To start our hip hop track in Bandlab, we're going to first of all add a drum beat. So to do that, we're going to go to the drum machine option in the new track menu. When it loads, you'll see that you've got two pre-made drum beats put into the song already. Let's take drum machine B and get rid of it. So click on B and then press the delete key on your keyboard. So we're just left with A. Now that comes with a pre-made beat that you can press play and have a little listen to. Which is alright, but we want it to sound a little bit more hip-hoppy. So we're actually going to start again with this one. If you click on one of the coloured dots in the panel at the bottom, which is where you program in your drums, then it will disappear. And if you click and hold, you can actually drag your mouse across all the dots to get rid of them. So we want to start with a blank canvas with nothing on there at all. Now we're going to set the tempo. The tempo is up here in BPM. Tempo means the speed of the project and BPM is beats per minute. We want ours to be between about 130 or 140 BPM. I'm going to go with 130, but if you want it a little bit faster, up to about 140 sounds good as well. So now I've done that, I'm going to come back down to my panel at the bottom and I'm going to start off with kind of the basics, which is going to be a kick drum on beat 1, just here. Now beat 1 is this first light grey area. This is what we call beat 1. Then there's beat 2, which is the dark grey area, beat 3, and then finally beat 4. So on beat 3, which is the next light grey area, I'm going to put a snare drum hit. The snare drum are these three sounds here. There's three of them because they're different actual areas of the drum kit and they all sound slightly differently. To listen to it, put it in and see which one you like. The normal main snare drum is this one here, which is labelled with the note F on the keyboard. So I'm going to put one of those in beat 3 right at the start of this section here, this light grey section here. And then let's press play and have a listen. Okay, it's pretty basic, but that will serve as the starting point for our drum beats. Now we've got our kick and our snare, we're now going to come to the hi-hats. There are different types of hi-hats up here. They're the cymbals on the drum kit. And the one we want is this one here, which is the closed hi-hat. It's in red and it's got the hi-hats kind of joined together and closed. Now what we're going to do is, because we've got our basics, which are our kick and snare, we can try putting in these hi-hats almost randomly. We're going to dot them around along this thing, putting red dots wherever you like and some spaces, and then have a listen and see what it sounds like. Okay, I think there's a bit too regular here, so I'm going to bunch them up a little bit more. Now you've done that, that's kind of your starting point for your drum beat with your kick and your snare. Now because you've then got the basics in, kick, snare and hi-hats dotted throughout, you can then try experimenting with different placing of these other sounds. So for example, maybe I'll put another kick in there, maybe I'll put another snare in there, maybe I will put some claps in, and I might even put in an open hi-hat, which is this sound here. And then let's have a listen and see what it sounds like. Okay, and it's got a bit of a different sound. I think that clap might make it a bit too busy, so I'm going to get rid of it, but you can decide how you'd like to put things in, play around, experiment until you've got it how you'd like it to be. Now finally, this is the pattern that I've created, and it's played on what we call the 808 kit, which is the default sounds in the drum machine, but there are lots of different sounds that we can hear this pattern played on. So if I click on where it says 808 kit at the side, go to pad kits, which is the electronic drum kits, and then try a different one from the menu. When you've changed it, I'll hear this exact same pattern, but this time played on a new, different drum sounds. Let's have a listen. There you go, quite different on these new sounds. Let's try one more. Let's go for, here we go. There you go, and you'll get a really different sound depending on which one you've selected. So have a bit of an experiment making your drum pattern, making sure you got the basics of the snare on beat 3 and the kick on beat 1, the hi-hats dotted throughout, and then experiment putting in other sounds. Finally, from the pads kits menu here, choose some different drum sounds to see which ones sound the best with your pattern. I'll show you one extra thing if you've finished all of that, which is how to make a variation of your pattern. A variation just means rather than the drums being the same all the way through, it could change as it goes through the song. So if I were to press on the patterns menu here, pattern B, just there, you'll see that it switches to a new pattern, and this is another one that's been pre-made in the program, but let's just click and hold get rid of them and start afresh. And I can do the same thing, start with a kick drum on 1, add a snare drum in on 3, and then dot some hi-hats along. But this time I might do it in a different way. And actually, do you know what? I might even get rid of the kick drum. So this could now be a variation which is a little bit different. Put in a few of those other bits as well. A little bit different to the ones that I had before. To add that into your song, click and drag the playhead, which is this thing just here, the line showing you where you're actually playing, to the next free space. Let's go here at bar 5. And then you can press this add B, and you'll see that it's added in pattern B now, which means that when I play my track, I'll hear pattern A, and then it will switch to pattern B when it goes into this new section. I'm just going to loop that by going to the top right hand corner as well. Let's have a listen. Now pattern B, and then it could go back to A by clicking on A and then add A, and I can switch between those two different patterns. There you go. Good luck making your drum beats.